Are you guys ready for the biggest, the craziest bull run known to mankind? Well, it seems like history is repeating, guys, and nothing, literally nothing will stop the markets from going higher due to these external factors, which we'll talk about in today's video, guys. This video will make you extremely bullish. Please like today's video. Let's go. From Unusual Whales, United States economy is on the cusp of another roaring 20s, says UBS. Well, look at that, guys. Right? Elon Musk stated this years ago as well. But then after the roaring 20s is over, guys, what came? The Great Depression. Right? So this portion is coming sooner or later, guys. But for now, let us enjoy up only. Right? Yes, there's going to be some volatility up and down in between. But again, we just have to sit tight, hold on to our seatbelts, and ride this wave, guys. Right? If you just go in and out, I don't think you should do that, because majority of people who outperform the markets are hodlers, especially with cryptos, because it's so volatile, guys. Okay, now financial advice. China's central bank just announced a 500 billion yuan swap facility to support the Chinese stock market. I told you guys, these events will boost the economy. The liquidity is going higher and bigger and crazier, guys. China unveils which is $70 billion liquidity boost to drive stock market surge amid slowing economy. What do we talk about? It's only up and up and up, guys. Beijing. China's central bank has introduced a liquidity swap facility aimed at bolstering institutional stock purchases, marking a key element of a broader economic stimulus package that triggered a significant stock market rally. Now, the reason why this is important, guys, listen to this. China is about to pump crypto markets. Bitcoin macro is lining up perfectly, right? So this person explains why liquidity, we need to see a lot of liquidity, guys, and that'll boost cryptos, right? It's such weird timing, if you ask me, because Q4 is here, and usually Q4 cryptocurrencies are extremely bullish. Then we got elections, exactly. Who wins? Trump, extremely bullish. Then we got liquidity pouring in like never before. Is that fascinating, guys? CPI can't stop what's coming.
The reason I highlight China is that they're kind of like the final boss as it relates to all-time highs in crypto. The macro is lining up perfectly. I think the big change most recently, of course, is obviously the Fed cutting 50 basis points, but also the coordinated central banks' efforts to also cut as well. So whether it's the ECB, the Bank of England, the Bank of Canada, et cetera. So we do have clear tailwinds as it relates to global liquidity picking up, which has a direct impact on risk assets and particularly Bitcoin, and of course the longer tail of tokens in crypto. But the most interesting thing to me is the news that's recently come out of China. I know we saw ahead of the Golden Week in China, which is October 1st through the 7th, which just ended last night. The PBOC and the broad kind of finance ministry, if you will, of China came out with some pretty accommodative, stimulative policies for not only the banks and helping recapitalize them, but also for consumers. China has a domestic demand problem. It's not a new thing. If you look at anything over the past, even I think it's the last 11 quarters, they've had pretty persistent state of deflation. This is a problem for some place like China, where they're an export-driven economy, and if their domestic demand is effectively zero in terms of growth, they need to fix that. And so there is actually a pretty strong correlation between the expansion of China M1 money supply. So these are deposits that are not necessarily just going in savings account like M2, and the price of Bitcoin. So what we saw at the beginning of the year, yes, we knew the ETF was coming. We knew that there was going to be a strong narrative behind those ETF flows, and that actually did happen. But what a lot of people didn't see was the expansion of M1 money supply in China as a direct correlation to Bitcoin's price improvement.
How does that fit into all of the other catalysts that are kind of at play for Bitcoin?
Check this out, guys. Right, when we talk about Bitcoin and liquidity, well, the central banks are starting to inject more liquidity again. This is very bullish for Bitcoin and altcoins, because Bitcoin is the orange line, big four central bank balance sheets, white line. What is it, guys? When liquidity goes more, when liquidity gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so does Bitcoin. Right, we have seen it each singular time. Look at this, guys. And now it's gaining momentum again, which means this will be the catalyst for Bitcoin to finally break out of this damn 9-month range that's just been consolidation, right? About time. Global money supply hits an all-time high of $107 trillion, right? So this is very beautiful, guys. It's going to go higher and higher and higher. Resume.
Right now, it kind of sounds like this idea that we're probably going to retest the all-time high by the end of the year, probably even break that and get another all-time high is still a likelihood. But what given everything you just said, how would you place that among the other themes, and what would you say is sort of the dominant theme to get us to those new records later this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's all connected. And so, if you zoom way out and you just kind of look at, say, the global liquidity picture, global liquidity bottomed in October of 2022. These liquidity cycles tend to last between 5 and 6 years. We're not quite halfway through that yet, and we're just now starting to see tailwinds pick up on the global liquidity side. The reason I highlight China is, I wrote in our latest asymmetric market update this past weekend, is that they're kind of like the final boss as it relates to all-time highs in crypto. The macro is lining up perfectly for Bitcoin to make new all-time highs later this year, but the kind of catalyst, or really the accelerant, I think has a lot to do with policy that comes out of China. So, if you look at the global liquidity picture today, we keep hitting new all-time highs every week. And that's whether that's, collateral ratios improving on U.S. treasuries that are deposited as collateral, or it's actually the expansion of, central bank balance sheets or easing policies that they put in place. These are all naturally accretive to things like Bitcoin. I do think that Southeast Asia, being that it is about 70 to 80% of global trading volume as it relates to crypto, and yes, crypto and Bitcoin is banned within China. But as you start to see a loosening of monetary policy in the region, that tends to spread to the broader region throughout Southeast Asia. And so from our perspective, yes, we're going to see things like the TGA being drained by law. Yellen has to spend that money. That's accretive to liquidity. There is the potential for rules changes to the discount window to remove the taboo effect of banks actually posting collateral to the discount window and receiving cash. That could be stimulative to liquidity here in the United States. But ultimately, what ends up happening in Southeast Asia, we think actually is going to be the thing that drives Bitcoin to an all-time high.
So we just need a bunch of liquidity, guys, right? And look, if you look at the global liquidity, it's going higher and higher and higher. Then we got RBC says Bank of Canada will cut by 50 basis points this month. More beautiful news, guys. So all these interesting catalysts will propel Bitcoin higher, such as from Standard Chartered predicts fresh all-time highs by end of the year. Oh, beautiful, guys. That's music to my ears, right? And these people are most definitely in the know, guys. These are institutions, right, and big players within the scene. They're talking about 75K if Kamala wins and 6 figures if Donald Trump wins by end of 2024, right? And that's only just like a couple months left, right? So this again, Bitcoin will probably double very quickly. In parabola phases, guys. Bitcoin doubles and triples and quadruples very fast. It leaves everyone off behind.
I think we go to fresh all-time highs by the end of this year, no matter what happens in the US election. It would be relatively clear that a Trump presidency should be more positive, given he's been relatively constructive on Bitcoin in particular, but also the broader digital asset space over the last couple of years. So in his victory scenario, I predict we go to 125,000 for Bitcoin by the end of this year. In the Harris scenario, again, I think we do go higher, but to about 75,000 by the end of this year. And that's because Harris is definitely not President Biden. So President Biden has been quite negative on the sector the last few years. Earlier this year, in May, President Biden vetoed the SAB 121 repeal bill that had passed through the House and the Senate. So I think now that the sector has become politicized, if you like, it'll be very difficult for a then President Harris to a similar repeal to what President Biden has done. So again, a somewhat positive story, but a much more positive outcome in a President Trump 2.0.
Right. So just pray and hope that we're going to go higher, guys. But that's not the end of the cycle, no matter what, because from Crypto Rover, my Bitcoin bull target is 2,000. Whoa, almost basically 300K. We called it first, so I said 300K from the beginning of time. Right now, others are following because I don't know, but short term we'll probably go like that, guys, come back down, but then go higher like that, right? That's what I'm thinking, this type of trajectory, guys. And then there's going to be a bearish divergence formed, with bearish divergence literally from the creation of Bitcoin, which means the collapse happens then after, right? So you guys ready? I'm not selling anytime soon, and that 300K probably happens by 2026. So it's better for us, guys, because that means it's going to be a long bull run. More people will be getting or be making more money. Justin, Japanese public company Metaplanet, buys another billion yen worth of Bitcoin. Right, so people are just buying, guys. These people are buying. BlackRock has bought more Bitcoin than this week than any other ETF has sold. BlackRock keeps buying. Think about that. Ask yourself the question. $9 trillion Charles Schwab survey shows almost half of its respondents plan to invest into Bitcoin and crypto ETFs. Asset classes ETF investors plan to invest in via ETFs. Cryptocurrency. Number 2, 45%. Wow. All that money coming in, guys, flowing in. We need all this liquidity. While you're still bearish, they're not, because we're for the fear and greed index, it's 39 out of 100, guys, right? we're literally almost there. That's the crazy part. We're literally almost there, guys. Right? Can we hold on just a little bit more? I hope you can, even though we're seeing bearish news such as United States inflation falls to 2.4%, but is still higher than expectations, though inflation is still falling, guys, which is good. So it's like neutral to a little bit bearish, I would say, but still nothing too bad. Because Bitcoin right now, guys, the super trend still holding bullish, and on balance volume, this indicator still holding above the diagonal line, right? So we see right here, touch point 1-2, support or resistance flipped into support, guys. Right? We need to hold this level and bounce out of there, which would mean Bitcoin will too. Right? Again, this OBV, guys, okay, this indicator has been ranging and consolidating like this, or like in some type of downward trend, guys, since March. Okay, since March. But now look, it broke out and it's holding support. Okay, it's holding support, guys. This just means it's going to go back up like that. Right, liquidity will be flowing into Bitcoin here soon. October trap is in progress. I'm really hoping Bitcoin starts pumping, guys, because our altcoins will as well. Right, October trap in progress. So what happened previously in these other cycles? September low, then the October trap, right? Same thing, guys. But look what happened then after. Pumped. That's what's upcoming. Can we hold on just a little bit longer? I hope so. I'm going to. Bitcoin's RSI has broken a 200-day downtrend and is now retesting the breakout, guys. Look at that, right? This is how we know we're literally right there. Maybe a few more weeks, maybe a month. 200 days it took Bitcoin to break out of this downtrend. Okay, for the RSI, when it broke out, guys, look at that. It created another high in this previous one, right? And it needs to hold this level, guys, and pump and go up like that, right? To go back to oversold or overbought territories, and that's where the top will be, guys, right? When we do go to oversold again, like back here, that was the top, right? So I'm really excited because all these indicators are pointing towards that we're going to just keep pumping, guys, right? And it seems like we're right there. We're right there, guys. We truly are, because a range cannot go on for forever. It needs to break out either down or up. Hopefully up. Let's go. All the other supporting evidence shows we're going to pump. Now, an HO Vice. But news, hopefully it's amazing. See ya.